A job search scam guide / paying someone to get you a job. Chapter 1. Internet predators exploiting job websites. The fake company looking to hire. The main recruiters, headhunters, and staffing companies have been around for many years, like Kelly and Manpower. I understand the desperation around a job search, but the logic is that if you're good, the headhunter wants you because he or she makes the money when they provide good employees to their clients, which are companies looking for good workers. So by this logic, you as a worker, paying somebody upfront to help get you a job is suspect. It's not illegal. In this day and age, every legitimate person and scammer is trying some new idea to make money. If you come across an ad or spam telling you they will help you get a decent job for money from you upfront, all I say is take that email or website and type it into a website like bbb.org or ipofreport.com. If there is at least one complaint about them, don't do it. They could be so transient that they have no track record, so look for evidence to see how long they've been around. Do an internet search, see what comes up. Most of those spams I still get are newbies trying new out of desperation, but spam is dead. Nobody is that stupid that they listen to spam anymore. At my age, I have lived through several generations of con artists. The cons never end. Con artists simply pretend they're some up-and-coming high-tech company or a foreign company and post an ad looking to hire people. When people respond, they send an application form which you fill out, then they steal your identity using this information. The lesson is to check to see if a company is real before you apply for work. It's hard to do because anyone can incorporate for under $200. Look for news stories on the company. If none exist, the company must be fake because every company should have some news on it. Employment agencies fraud. Beware that many ads in many publications purporting to either find you a good job either here or overseas, or touting any kind of business opportunity, could be a fly-by-night scam taking as much money from as many suckers as possible in a short period of time, then moving on and setting up under a new name. These ads are often too good to be true, offering either a high-paying job quickly or overseas, when in actuality, the job market is tough everywhere for good jobs, and many countries have tough laws about letting foreigners into work, so do yourself a favor and don't fall for them. If you want to work overseas, get my World Job Book. Employment agencies, headhunters, whatever you want to call them, sometimes charge a fee for helping you network to find a job. Often, the employer pays, but the government has employment services too and offers them for free if you know where to look. The business section of your library has some good books and newspapers to help you find a job. Some employment firms, particularly those catering to professionals, are scams, taking large upfront fees for essentially just making up a resume and then giving the applicant a generic list of corporate addresses, something you can find in any library. Your local colleges can be a good source of ideas. Even if you're not a student, you might still be allowed to use their employment services. Try college career websites. Register for one course and get a student ID which lets you log into their job databases like Handshake, Vault, Glassdoor. If an employment agency charges an upfront fee, then don't bother with it. If they're legitimate, they won't charge you until you get a job. Oral promises are meaningless. Get any promises in writing. There are phony scams like someone placing an ad pretending to be a government office looking for workers, then when you take the bait, they charge you an upfront application fee. Never call a 900 number in a job ad. Use the free government employment agency in your area. Resume identity theft. First off, limit what personal information you put on your e-resume. I might put my year of birth on it, but not my actual birth date. Phony prospective employers will call you pretending that you are being considered for a job and they need more information for a credit or background check, so they want your social security number, which is their key to stealing your identity successfully, to have your name, birth date, and SSN. Don't give your SSN over the phone. Only give it after you go to a legitimate-looking company in a building or office and interview for the job. Identity theft while job hunting. Some company HR offices say they want your exact birth date, not just year, and your social security number to run a criminal background check and / or credit check on you. My advice is to not put your SSN or birth date on your paper resume or e-resume. Put your year of birth or simply your age but not the date, because with your name, birth date, and SSN, anyone can apply for loans and credit using your name. It's called identity theft. I say simply add a line at the end of your resume that reads something like, "I'm protecting my middle name, date of birth and SSN because of the possibility of identity theft. I will provide these on request." There are bogus job websites set up solely to collect information from job seekers to steal their identities. Some job websites are not sinister, but they are bad because they don't care about helping you. They just want your email address and phone number to sell them to mailing list brokers. Overseas job scams. Many of the overseas employment ads in newspapers are scams. Beware if they want upfront fees and if they operate out of a shoebox, meaning a fly-by-night office. Go to the office personally and inspect it. They often have no contacts overseas and don't give your resume to anyone. All they do is get a list of foreign corporations, and that's what you end up paying $500 for. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Check the company out by either going to its physical office, it probably operates out of a post office or private mailbox, or plugging its name into search engines on the internet. I've seen one of these companies with an impressive-looking physical office on an investigative journalism piece, but it was still a scam operation. A lot of gullible people will pay $500 or more for the empty promise of a dream job in an exotic locale. Don't be fooled by an impressive-sounding company name or an impressive-looking office. Call up your local Better Business Bureau, bbb.org, and ask them if this company has any complaints against it. Get the contract in writing, even though it won't help you much after the company folds, but before then, you could always sue in small claims court and win by default. When the defendant doesn't show, then never collect your judgment. Don't send cash or money orders. With a check or credit card, at least you will have a record of it. Some of these companies are fronts for the theft of credit card numbers. Read your contract carefully. Ask specific questions. Overall, I would say look for an overseas job yourself through the information in my jobs books and other jobs books on the market. overseasdigest.com/scams.htm, Overseas Job Scams. Career marketing and executive marketing companies want big money to help you find a job. With most recruiting agencies, you as a talented employee pay nothing. The recruiter gets paid from the company that hires you because he or she provided them with the valuable talent they were looking for, you. Nowadays, we got career management and executive marketing firms. These are basically rip-offs. They charge you loads of money to supposedly build up your brand and give you insider knowledge. The knowledge they give you is commonly available knowledge. You don't have to pay anyone to find you a job. My job book is the best job book ever. Everything is right here. There are a bunch of services around called career counseling services. Some are non-profit. Some are for profit. If you got money to burn, hire someone to redo your resume and supposedly give you a fresh new image. You can hire some virtual assistant from India to send out your resume to hundreds of companies for $8 an hour. A good career coach or counselor doesn't have a package deal with a standard price. The price should be different for everyone. Some of the executive marketing firm scams I read ended up charging people $12,000 or more. They suck you in. They seduce you. They make it seem like a few $1,000s is worth a good job for $100,000 plus a year. Legitimate career management firms do not contact you out of the blue because they saw your online resume somewhere. You contact them. They don't chase you. Ask theheadhunter.com/gv010822.htm, the executive marketing racket, how I dropped 10 grand down a hole. Job search scam one-liners. There is a scam where somebody offers you a fictitious job overseas, then requests you email them a copy of your passport. This is to get your vital statistics to steal your identity. I was watching CBC's Marketplace, cbc.ca, where the guy from Ask the Headhunter said you should not have to pay anyone to help you find a job. If you have an in-demand skill, recruiters want you for free. Your new employer will pay them a fee. Next to that, the government has a free job service. The internet and this book is full of knowledge. People pose as hiring companies to steal your identity then your money. Avoid job ads offering large salaries for little or no experience jobs. Avoid ads and websites that seem like they were put together by some scammer. Stick with big job websites. There are niche websites. See how long they've been around. If people want money to help you find a job, I say don't do it. I see these house-sitting websites. They want about $50 to give you their list of house-sitter wanted ads. It's a fantasy that some homeowner is gonna pick some random person to sit for him. They will get somebody local, usually somebody through their own contacts or a professional nanny agency or something like that. Good recruiters are paid by employers, not by job seekers. A few are, but they can't be very good. Beware of postings for fees for training or training materials. There is a big oil jobs website that has no jobs, just oil industry courses. Check to see if these courses are accredited to get you a legitimate license. Don't disclose your birth date, social security number or mother's maiden name until you've gotten a bona fide job. An employer might need these to do a background check. Don't wire money to online job ads. Beware of money wiring scams. Scammers often use the name of a legitimate existing company as their name. Don't respond to email job ads. Do not provide bank, PayPal account numbers or credit card information. If you receive a check from an employer upfront, it's a scam. Research companies with an internet search. Check a phone number with White Pages or some other website. Check addresses with a street map website. Post resumes without your birth date or SSN. Have a clean social media presence. Get rid of info that people can steal and maybe lure you somehow. Meet an employer at the business place or in public, not at their house unless you bring a friend who waits outside. Act like you're not a pushover. Report scams to bbb.org. Where there are people looking for work, there are phony career counselors, services, agencies, etc. that can act real professional, rent an office in an expensive building and look successful, but they could be there to milk you, the job hunter, out of your money. The really good recruiters do not charge the job hunter a fee. They charge their client, a company looking to fill a position with a high-quality person. If a career service asks you for money and if they keep asking for more without results, or you get their name out of an ad somewhere rather than referral by word of mouth, be wary. A TV news show did an undercover report on these places and found a lot of rip-offs there by impressive-looking companies. Check an employment counseling company out before you hire them. Some of the guidelines the FTC has listed about these types of companies are as follows. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Check the company out by either going to its physical office, it probably operates out of a post office or private mailbox, or plugging its name into search engines on the internet. I've seen one of these companies with an impressive-looking physical office, but it was still a scam operation. A lot of gullible people will pay $500 or more for the empty promise of a dream job. Don't be fooled by an impressive-sounding company name or an impressive-looking office. Call up your local Better Business Bureau, bbb.org, and ask them if this company has any complaints against it. Get the contract in writing, even though it won't help you much after the company folds, but before then, you could always sue in small claims court, win by default when the defendant doesn't show, then never collect your judgment. Don't send cash or money orders. With a check or credit card, at least you will have a record of it. Some of these companies are fronts for the theft of credit card numbers. Read your contract carefully. Ask specific questions. Overall, I would say look for a job yourself through the information in my jobs books and other jobs books on the market. Look for accredited career counselors, agencies, services, headhunters, etc. through the trade organization websites I provide in this book. The home business/work-at-home ads are the most common scams around. If somebody asks you for a credit report along with your resume, they probably want to steal your identity. Any job that requires you to ship items to another country is a scam. Some people offer you a job of shipping things from the United States or Canada to somewhere like Russia or Nigeria. If you see a job offer like that, the stuff you're sending was bought with stolen credit card numbers. They might get you in trouble by getting your personal bank account mixed in with it. They buy stuff with stolen credit cards. The delivery guy delivers all this stuff to your house. You're part of a crime ring. Do not give bank account, PayPal, or credit card numbers to an employer. Do not agree to have funds or paychecks direct deposited to any of your accounts by a new employer. Never forward, transfer, or wire money to an employer. Do not transfer money and retain a portion for payment. Never send money or give out personal information to any company promising to find you a job. The government already has a big free job service. A common scam is that they say they found your resume, they offer you a job with a $2,000 signing bonus, but their secretary mistakenly sent $5,000 to your bank account or PayPal. They say wire the $3,000 back. The money they deposited was a fake check. Cashier checks are easy to fake with color printers. Information about completing an application for unemployment benefits is free through the government. If you have been denied, go through the appeals process or hire an unemployment lawyer. Don't hire someone from flaky ad you saw on the internet. Nobody can guarantee that they will find you a job. If they do, they're lying. Nobody has direct access to a hidden job market any more than you do. The world is too big and impersonal for that. Never give out a social security number, credit card number, etc. to employers before an interview. People use fake job offers to get personal information to steal your identity. In many scams, the email messages are amateurish, not professional, with spelling errors and grammatical mistakes. It's unusual in the HR field if an employer asks to do a background check before you interview. To pre-screen using background check information is illegal because it may allow a company to use protected information to deny some candidates the opportunity of employment, i.e. income, criminal history, marital status, etc. To do a credit check, big companies will get you to sign a Fair Credit Reporting Act release. There is no reason to do a credit check unless the position deals with money. Chapter 2. A Job Scam Website Guide. Job Scam Websites. Scamguard.com/employment-scams-category. Help.monster.com/baseafe. WorldPrivacyForum.org/jobguide.html, Privacy Guide, Guide to Online Job Sites. WorldPrivacyForum.org/JobScamReport PT1.html, Report on Online Job Scams. Federal Trade Commission. Washington, D.C. 20580. 800-876-7060. Consumer.ftc.gov/article/0243-finding-job, FTC's government job scams. ftc.gov/job scams. ftc.gov/bcp/edu/pub/consumer/invest/inv14.shtm, work-at-home schemes. ftc.gov/selected-industries/franchises-and-business-opportunities. ftc.gov/bcp/menus/consumer/education/jobs.shtm, finding a job. National Fraud Information Center. 800-876-7060. Fraud.org. Tell them your complaints. badbusinessbureau.com. ripofreport.com. msnbc.msn.com/id/30785533, online job listing and ID theft scam. Consumerist.com. fdic.gov/consumers/consumer/news/cnsum02/fraud.html, fraud alert, bogus bonus checks. cbc.ca/marketplace/2012/recruitment-ripoff, recruitment ripoff. corcodillos.com/blog/214/how-much-would-you-pay-for-a-job, how much would you pay for a job? bbb.org/a/article/280, beware of employment scams. bbb.org/a/article/4867, help wanted. ct.gov/ag/cwp/browse.asp??1949, Attorney General warns college students about job scam. consumerreports.org, consumer-research-guide.com, consumerreview.com, consumersdigest.com, consumersearch.com, consumersgroup.com, consumerwatchdog.org, consumerwebwatch.org. File a job scam complaint websites. StopFraud.gov, the Financial Fraud Enforcement Task Force, hold accountable those who helped bring about the last financial crisis and to prevent another crisis. bbb.org, the Better Business Bureau. NAJI.org, National Association of Attorneys General. usa.gov/directory/state-consumer/index.shtml, Index of State and Local Consumer Agencies. Chapter 3. Identity Theft Guide. Identity Theft Info 1. Before I discuss identity theft, there are two other scams you should know about. The first is that some low-level guy simply puts a paper clip or something into an ATM such that your card gets stuck, then he pulls it out with pliers and uses it. Another one is that the owners or employees of a store or gas station that accepts cards or has an ATM machine secretly hook up a laptop computer to it which records your electronic information when you use your card. They have a hidden camera set up to watch you as you punch in your PIN. From that, they can easily make a clone card. A big problem with our conversion to computerized files is that the wrong people can assume your identity, get loans, credit cards, etc. in your name, trash your credit record, and they can easily do this for months until the unpaid bills eventually end up with a bill collector who comes chasing after you. Even though you're generally not liable for the bills these thieves accrue, your credit rating is destroyed. You have to run around trying to repair it with all the many credit reporting agencies, banks, and companies out there, and the ripple effect can go on for years, and sometimes you never get your good name back again, thus precluding you from getting a mortgage, car loan, etc. The burden is on you, the consumer, to straighten out your own credit. So, bottom line, the lenders and reporting agencies don't really care all that much. It can even get worse if someone uses your identity to commit crimes, gets caught, then your name goes into the computer as a convicted criminal, thus opening you up to being detained at routine traffic stops and possibly not able to get a passport, etc. There was even a case where someone stole someone's identity, bought life insurance on them, and tried to kill them. The sad fact about identity theft is that it's often never prosecuted because the police and the federal authorities generally can't be bothered because it's a low-priority crime. The U.S. Secret Service is responsible for credit card crimes, but they generally don't intervene unless the thefts are over $50,000. However, a federal law, the Identity Theft Assumption Law, has teeth, making it a felony punishable up to 15 years in jail, plus states are starting to pass their own laws making it a felony. The police view the lenders, not you, the consumer, as the victim, so they could care less. The credit reporting agencies just blindly do their jobs reporting what they get back. The lenders should get part of the fault because they greedily offer instant credit and easy credit cards without verifying changes of address, etc. People can steal your identity from almost anywhere. One guy had his wallet stolen at the gym, and that's how it started. Another woman went to get an X-ray where a hospital employee stole her name, social security number, etc. from a medical file. Another way is for the crook to get a friend to take a job as a cashier at a store or as a waitress, then they just steal your credit card information when you pay for purchases, and if you have to show an ID like for cashing checks at supermarkets, they memorize your social security number. Some people take trash bags out of dumpsters or off the street and search through them for relevant information. Another guy was a car salesman who simply used the credit reporting agencies to get all the information he needed from the credit reports he ordered. Legitimate people like prospective employers, landlords, store owners, car lots, banks, etc. have the right to check up on anyone's credit report, and some of these people do it for criminal reasons to get people's information then just charge away. Your safest way to avoid theft is to use as few credit cards as possible, leave them home whenever you can, and if you get any suspicious activity on your credit, inform your credit card company and the credit reporting agencies right away to repair your damaged credit record. People steal mail out of mailboxes that belong to the postal service, out of home mailboxes, by robbing the post office building and robbing postal employees. They often do it at the first of the month to try to get government checks and steal identities. The best mailbox for the home is a slit in the door or elsewhere where the mail goes directly into your house and doesn't sit in a box to be easily stolen. It is a crime to take, steal, or abstract any mail. Criminal penalties include fines and imprisonment up to 5 years. The relevant law is 18 U.S.C. 1702, 1708, obstruction of correspondence and theft or receipt of stolen mail. The U.S. Supreme Court, California v. Greenwood, 486 U.S. 35, 1988, ruled that a person who places his trash at the curb for pickup has no reasonable expectation of privacy over the trash. Even though some municipalities have enacted local ordinances outlawing anyone but the trashman from taking the trash bags on the curb, it's legal almost everywhere else. Con artists come by, usually at night or early morning, pick up a bunch of bags in a wealthy area, go through it and steal identities. Burn your important papers that are trash or shred them. If you are the victim of identity theft, consider doing the following things. Make an identity theft report to the police. Close accounts that have been tampered with. Contact each company by phone and by certified letter to make sure the company notifies you in writing that the disputed charges have been erased. Record the phone calls. Place a fraud alert or a freeze on your credit reports. What happens with a freeze is they tell you immediately whenever someone tries to access your credit file. Access is blocked. Nobody can open up a new account unless they give the credit bureaus a specially issued personal identification number and a few days' notice to do so. If you think you've been the victim of identity theft, place a fraud alert with the 3 credit bureaus. You are then entitled to a free copy of your credit report. A fraud alert applies only when someone tries to open a new line of credit. It doesn't protect the existing accounts you might have. Go through the slow, tedious process of having the fraudulent information removed from your credit reports. You have to do this if you want to restore your credit. Consider identity theft insurance. If you become a victim of identity theft, it will help you pay the cost of reclaiming your financial identity. Make sure you sign with a legitimate company that's willing to back their claims up. Try hashtag 005.8, hashtag 346.71, hashtag 362.88, hashtag 364.163 or K1658 and HV6679 at the library for a book on identity theft. Identity theft info 2. If your identity is stolen in some way, here are some things that could happen to you. Unauthorized charges have been made to your credit card. Your credit has been damaged. Your credit profile and identity has been stolen by someone who has a driver's license and credit cards in your name. You get a lot of spam, junk mail, and telemarketing calls. Limit who you give private information to. Ask yourself, why do they need it, who will have access to it, how it is protected, and what it may be used for. A doctor or the DMV needs your birth date and full name, but no merchant on the internet does. There was this free ebook being offered. Before I could get it, they wanted my birth date, full name, address, etc. I filled in all phony stuff. Beware of all free offers on the internet when they start asking about your name and birth date. Be cautious when asked to provide personally identifiable information, PII, such as Social Security number, place of birth, mother's maiden name, driver's license number, bank account information, credit card number, if it is not necessary for the transaction. On some websites like free porn websites, if it's free, why do they want your credit card number? Cancel it right there. Remember that any page collecting personally identifiable information, PII, should be linked to a privacy policy. If it's not, there is something funny going on. We live in a world right now where merchants and others know better than to ask you for personal information they don't need. If they do, you don't need to do business with them. Identity theft info 3. Identity theft is used mostly for the following in order: credit card fraud, phone or utilities fraud, bank fraud, employment fraud, fake IDs like a passport, driver's license, for use when arrested, government benefits, private investigators and journalists, get medical benefits through person's health insurance, student loans, impersonate person on the internet then act like a jerk, thus giving that person a bad reputation. Home equity theft, they sell your house or get a mortgage loan. The older you are, the less likely you will get your identity stolen because the thief has to look like the age on the ID card, and most thieves are young. Be vigilant about all paperwork. Check your credit report often. Hide your social security number. Before you throw mail in the garbage, destroy any paper with your SSN on it. Criminals create fake emails and websites that are designed to look like they come from well-known, legitimate, and trusted businesses, financial institutions and government agencies in an attempt to gather personal, financial, and sensitive information. If you ever get on a website offering loads of free music, free videos, etc., there's no advertising on it and they want you to sign up with your full name, city of residence, etc., look in the source code and on the website itself for evidence of another alphabet that the Russians use. I have no proof, but I believe these are scam websites designed to get your personal information. I tried bearshare.com on 2 different computers. Both times, after I went through the whole routine, it said it couldn't install because a file was missing. They got my fake personal information though. With phishing, criminals deceive internet users into disclosing their bank and financial information or other personal data such as usernames and passwords, or into unwittingly downloading malicious computer code onto their computers that can allow the criminals subsequent access to those computers or the user's financial accounts. Often phishers will sell credit card or account numbers to other criminals, turning a very high profit for a relatively small technological investment. Phishing involves identity thieves sending an email designed in the same way as a phishing email, yet instead of providing a fraudulent link to click on, the email provides a customer service number that the client must call and is then prompted to log in using account numbers and passwords. Alternately, consumers will be called directly and told that they must call a fraudulent customer service number immediately in order to protect their account. Spear phishing is a technique whereby emails that appear genuine are sent to all the employees or members within a certain company, government agency, organization, or group. The message might look like it comes from an employer, or from a colleague who might send an email message to everyone in the company, in an attempt to gain login information. Many people receive phone calls from persons purporting to be with legitimate institutions or companies asking them for personal information. Victims often have no idea how criminals obtain their data. Victims typically provide their personal information to phishers precisely because they believe the solicitation to be trustworthy. The unexplained and unexpected charges that later appear on their credit card statements often occur so long after the phishing solicitation that victims don't realize that there is a connection between these events. Companies that are victimized by phishing may not report these instances to law enforcement because they want to protect their image as a safe company. Phishers just create fake websites and emails that they cloned from the real one, but legitimate companies don't ask for personal information like this through the internet. Another thing phishers do is download certain forms of malicious computer code into people's computers. Sometimes they do redirection scheme. Ordinarily, when an internet user types the address of a particular website into an internet browser, the computer directs the user to the correct website. In a redirection scheme, the malicious code introduced by phishers changes the code inside a user's computer so that, when the user tries to access a particular site by tying in the correct address, the code causes the user, without his knowledge, to be redirected to a phishing website that closely resembles the site that the user intended to access. Another type of malicious code-related phishing scheme involves the use of keylogging software or a backdoor, i.e., code that allows criminals to access a user's computer without the user's knowledge. They recode the user's keystrokes during the login process at his or her bank, then retrieving the keystroke data to reproduce the user's username and password and access the user's account to make substantial withdrawals from that account. Phishers can be cunning crooks. A phisher in one country takes control of a computer in another country, then uses that computer to host his phishing website or send his phishing emails to residents of still other countries. Protect your computer with antivirus software, spyware filters, email filters and firewall programs, and make sure that they are regularly updated. Whenever I'm not on the internet, I pull my modem plug out. Ensure that your internet browser is up to date and security patches applied. Be suspicious of any email with urgent requests for personal financial information or threats of termination of online accounts. When contacting your financial institution, use only channels that you know from independent sources are reliable. To make sure you're on a secure web server, check the beginning of the web address in your browser's address bar. It should be rather than just http://. Regularly log into your online accounts. Don't leave them for as long as a month before you check each account. Regularly check your bank, credit, and debit card statements to ensure that all transactions are legitimate. If anything is suspicious, contact your bank and all card issuers. Don't use the links in an email to get to any web page, if you suspect the message might not be authentic. Instead, call the company on the telephone, or log onto the website directly by typing in the web address in your browser. Avoid filling out forms in email messages or pop-up windows that ask for personal financial information. ID theft one-liners. Identity theft occurs when someone steals your credit card number, social security number, birth date, checking account number, password to a website and gets credit in your name. Shred or burn anything with your date of birth and SSN on it. When you get a new credit card, sign it right away. If you cancel a credit card, tell them. Don't just cut it up. Don't sign blank credit card slips. Don't lend your credit card to anyone. Don't put your address or SSN on checks you have printed up. Every piece of mail or paperwork you get with your date of birth and SSN on it, either burn it or shred it. If anyone asks for your SSN, don't give it unless you're sure it's a legitimate person or company. Don't give it out to a stranger on the phone or an email request from a stranger. Keep only one credit card and check your balance online every week or so. Your credit card company is liable for all false charges beyond $50, but the quicker you tell them, the less hassles you have. Put a firewall on your computer. When you're getting rid of an old computer, take the hard drive out and smash it. All a thief needs is your name and social security number, and they're in business. In many states, your SSN is public domain knowledge, used as your driver's license number and / or your health card number. There are so many near minimum wage clerks with access to computer records that getting this information is very easy, if not a joke. Some people get on the phone, call up neighbors, friends, co-workers, teachers, etc., and claim to be something like police, Secret Service, military, a corporation, etc., and either say they're conducting an investigation for a security check for a job, investigating a crime, or simply checking you out for your application for a job. With this approach, they can find out lots of background information about a person and what they do. If your credit cards are stolen, big deal, the crooks can only get what your limit is, so ask your credit card company to keep that low even though you're only liable for $50 worth of stolen charges. But the big thing is, if you have got good credit, these crooks can apply for a dozen cards in your name and rack up every one of them, and they're smart about it. They will wait for one particular day, then start using them all and max them out before anything appears on your statements. Whatever you do, don't fill out any of those phony junk mail contests and credit card applications with your social security number. If you find that you're not getting your mail, a crook could easily have filed a change of address form on you with the U.S. Postal Service. One guy just went to phone book in a wealthy suburb, took some names out, went to the DMV, got the SSNs, and that was it. If you get listed in the phone book, use an initial and leave your address out. Your best bet is to not get listed at all. Some people simply go to the book Who's Who in America to get details and then get a birth certificate from that. Some thieves start dummy or barely operating companies to get information from people. Some thieves file an incomplete credit card application using your name, then when they're rejected, they request a copy of the free credit report from a credit reporting agency, and that's how they get your information. Someone with all your information can pretend to be on vacation somewhere, then call the credit card companies saying the credit cards are lost, so that once a few details are verified over the phone, they will FedEx the new credit cards to the crook. If someone calls you on the phone posing as a credit card company representative or whomever, do not volunteer any information. To verify who they are, get their number and call them back. Collect. The government and the lenders are currently working on new ways to help stop this epidemic, but until they get something like an instant fingerprint check machine, you have to watch your own butt when it comes to your credit identity. After signing your name on a credit card charge slip, pull out the carbons and rip them up. Rarely give out your birthdate and social security number unless absolutely necessary. Destroy all paperwork with personal information on it. Don't just throw it in the garbage, because that's where a lot of identity thieves get their informations, from the garbage. Burn it or shred it first. People obviously steal identities for financial gain, to use if caught doing a criminal act including drinking while driving, and personal revenge, to get back at someone you think wronged you, like an ex-wife or a boss. Beware of your roommate at college or elsewhere. Many identities are stolen this way. Tell the banks and credit card companies when you move. Record card numbers and the credit card company phone number in a separate place from the card. If you lose a credit card, report it immediately. Don't carry more credit cards around than what you need. Don't give out personal info over the phone or by email. Check your monthly credit card statements for unauthorized charges. If you see monkey business on your accounts, call the police. Check for fraud at your credit report, bank account, your investment stock account. Phone company, does someone have a phone in your name? Social Security number fraud line, ssa.gov, 800-269-0271. Driver's license. Bankruptcy court, has someone filed for bankruptcy for you? Did someone amass a criminal record using your name? Beware of who you let into your house to stay as a guest, babysit, feed the pets while you're away, etc. Beware of what you throw into the garbage. It could contain enough information to steal your identity. Monitor your financial statements for irregularities. Check your own credit reports once a year. You're legally entitled to one free credit report per credit reporting agency per year. There are credit monitoring companies out there that report to you all attempts at getting credit in your name and all entities checking out your credit profile. Shred or burn your documents. Get a criminal or background check done on yourself to see if someone has committed crimes using your name. Protect your mailbox. The best mailbox is a slot where the mail goes into your house. Don't carry what you don't need in your wallet. Don't carry your SSN or extra credit cards around. Shop only with established companies on the internet and on the phone. Run their name through bbb.org. There is an identity theft book out there called From Victim to Victor. Try typing the terms background check or criminal check into search engines to get lists of companies that deal with doing these services. Use a secured browser on the internet. Destroy all credit card and ATM receipts, even for gas. Medical Identity Theft Guide. People steal your identity, then use it to get medical treatment and surgery done, and all the bills come back to you. Thieves are using stolen social security numbers to receive medical care. A thief may use your name or health insurance numbers to see a doctor, get prescription drugs, file claims with your insurance provider, or get other care. Increased use of electronic medical records means a rise in ID theft. Many don't know yet that they are victims. Try hashtag 005.8, hashtag 346.71 or K1658 at the library for a book on the subject. consumer.ftc.gov/articles/0171-medical-identity-theft. business.ftc.gov/bus75-medical-identity-theft-FAQ-health-care-health-plan. blog.protectemya.com. ehow.com, medical identity theft. fraud.org, National Fraud Information Center. healthcareinfosecurity.com. healthcareitnews.com. healthit.gov/providers-high-professionals-on-commissioned-medical-identity-theft-assessment. How do I know if my identity has been stolen? When you start getting bills in the mail for charges you didn't make, receive calls from irate creditors and bill collectors, that's a good sign someone has stolen your identity. But quite often, the address the bills are sent to is not yours, so you often don't find out until you are applying for credit, a car loan, a mortgage, etc. Then you find out your credit record is a mess. Someone else has assumed your identity and used it to rip off credit card companies and any other retail outlet or financial company they could. They take and take until your credit record is trashed. Sometimes they'll even file bankruptcy in your name in order to avoid being evicted out of a house. Identity theft is now a federal crime, regulated under the Federal Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act with stiffer sentences than before, but it seems like the easiest way to steal money, much easier than robbing banks, so don't expect it to slow down anytime soon. The thieves never think they'll get caught. Some of the stories I heard were atrocious. Some people have stolen 20 or more identities then simply escaped to another part of the country. In the old days, it was a low priority for cops. They had a field back then. Nowadays the FBI are involved, but there are still oaths of identity thieves around. If you're really paranoid, pay a membership fee to one of those credit detection services who inform you immediately whenever there is any kind of credit application in your name. Another way is simply to not own much, or at least not have much in the way of credit cards, loans, etc. A sparse or bad credit report can help you in this way because it'll be harder to get credit. Thieves target regular credit users with high credit limits. If you don't have a credit card, they can't steal your number, then use that to find your DOB and SSN. Get a copy of your credit report every year and look it over. Don't give out your personal information to anyone you don't trust. Don't put informative stuff in your garbage bag without shredding it first. Don't leave your purse or wallet laying around. At work, an unscrupulous coworker can write out your personal info without stealing anything, such that you don't know your identity was stolen. If you get robbed, watch your credit file for the next several months. Some people immediately close all their existing accounts and open new ones. It's your call as to whether to do this or wait around and see what happens. At the very least, ask your bank to flag your account such that if anyone comes in looking to withdraw money, they must present the new password. Change the PIN. Give out your social security number to as few people as possible. Banks need it by law, but almost no one beyond that does. Leave your social security card at home so that if someone steals your purse or wallet, they won't discover your SSN. Never give out your social security number over the internet. Carry only what you use. If you have 5 credit cards but usually only use one, leave the others hidden at home. Shred credit card receipts. Be wary of mirror websites, fake websites designed to look like the websites of legitimate companies. If someone needs your SSN, DOB, or something like that, it's safer to give it over the phone than over email. Don't be too paranoid. Most credit card number thefts over the internet are thefts of lists from a retail store or a credit card company. Don't fall for the need to update your account information trick, the oldest scam in cyberspace. Never give out your account numbers, social security information, etc. to strangers and telemarketers over the phone. Keep a list of your credit cards, account numbers, etc. so that you can contact them quickly if your identity gets stolen. Some thieves simply hit easy accessible mailboxes in well-to-do neighborhoods assuming most people work during the day and there is no one around. Try to get your mailbox to be the type that the mail goes through a slot into your house or get a postal box number. Put outgoing mail in a postal box, not in your mailbox. No bank or credit card company would send you an email asking to verify your information. They deal with hard copy postal letters. If you get a suspicious email, call your bank up immediately. You will be helping them as well as yourself by uncovering a criminal presence. I repeat, banks and credit card companies don't send unsolicited emails to their members asking for information. Myself personally, I don't use Internet Explorer because it attracts the most spam. I use Mozilla Firefox, Netscape, and other browsers. I use antivirus software too. Never accept anything free like a free screensaver. It's an excuse to plant a cookie in your computer to spy on your habits then send you related ads. Be wary about opening attachments in emails. Shred all credit card offers you get in the mail that you want to use. If your identity has been stolen, there are check verification companies covered elsewhere who will help you track down the checks the identity thief used for a fee. Once you find out your identity has been stolen, cancel all your credit and ATM cards and get brand new ones. Report lost or stolen ATM and debit cards immediately. The amount of money you are liable for depends on when you report the loss. If it's within 2 business days of discovering the loss or theft, your liability is $50. If it's after 2 business days, but within 60 days after a statement showing an unauthorized electronic fund transfer, you can be liable for up to $500. If you wait for longer than 60 days, you could be liable for all of it. If you have an ATM card, all the money withdrawn is your loss. In the end, protect yourself by being aware of what's on your credit record. Don't be sloppy about giving out personal information. Don't enter contests that ask you for a bunch of details or lie about them. No contest needs to know your DOB. Watch your garbage. Don't throw personal papers in there without ripping them up into very small pieces. You as a victim of identity theft 1. If you're a victim of identity theft, you should have a record of all your credit cards, a few major and local credit reporting agencies and accounts already at hand to contact them all immediately. Contact any one of the 3 major credit bureaus and ask for an extended fraud alert to be put onto your credit account. What this does is that whenever anybody applies for credit in your name for the next year or longer if you request it, the creditor must contact you directly before granting any new credit, so they have to talk to you personally, verify your address, employment history, etc. It's not like they often do, which is to check your credit score, and if it's good, they grant the credit without ever talking to you. Equifax.com, 800-525-6285. Experian.com, 888-397-3742. TransUnion.com, 800-680-7289. Call the local police department and file a criminal complaint in order to get a complaint document that you'll use to clean up your credit. Up until recently, police considered identity theft either a civil credit matter or a minor criminal matter, but it's now classified as a felony, so police departments are treating it more seriously than ever. Call the U.S. Secret Service, FBI, if a bank is involved, and the U.S. Postal Service. Hire a private investigator to find the thief if you have to. Some victims have gone on to sue the lenders for giving out credit too easily and the credit reporting agencies for destroying their ratings prematurely. Cancel everything. Start brand new accounts from scratch with new account numbers. If somebody gets a driver's license or a passport in your name, take their photograph, go to the media and get them to put it over the airwaves and ask people to identify that person. Contact the motor vehicle office and ask if they have issued a license in your name to someone else. On the NBC TV show Dateline, the guy got his credit report, found a home address there, went over, staked it out and shot video footage of the people going in and out without confronting them, went to the USPS, got a change of address form, had the mail rerouted to his house, then sent out a press release and got on a local news story about him as a cancer patient fighting identity theft. There are now strong federal laws, so if you are the victim of identity theft, call the FBI. Some thieves have the arrogance to set up a phone or internet account in your name. If you somehow discover this by getting a bill or seeing the unpaid charge on your CR, call them up immediately, ask for the security department, explain the situation, then tell them you want the address where the phone or internet hookup is. Obviously, if it's a cell phone, it's probably a fake address. Call the cops and tell them you've got an address on an identity theft suspect. Remember, there is now a federal and state laws for identity theft. Company security might not release the address to you, but they will release it to the cops. Close investment accounts too. They have machines to go through all possible number and letter combinations until they uncover your PIN. They can drain your entire investment account. They just have to sell the stock, then write a phony check or ask that the money be transferred or a check sent to their address. Some identity thieves file bankruptcy in a victim's name in order to wipe out debts and start getting more credit. If there's a bankruptcy on your CR that you didn't do, contact the U.S. Government Bankruptcy Administration, usdoj.gov/UST. You as a victim of identity theft too. Chances are that the identity thief has gotten a driver's license in your name. You might even find a ticket on your driving record that you didn't get. Contact your state DMV and ask them to do a check to see if your name and DOB are on 2 or more driver's licenses used by people other than you. Ask for a flag on your driver's license, which means that when anyone makes any request regarding your license, they do an extra check to verify it's you. Many states use the social security number in your driver's license number. If this is the case and you know your identity was stolen, you have to change your DL number, because if you don't, this other person can access your information by typing your DL number into a computer depending on the state. Some states give online access to driving records simply by typing your number in. It's really funny that the DVM bureaucrats don't wince when someone comes in with the exact same name and DOB as someone already on file and ask for a DL. It should be a big red flag for identity theft, but I was a documentary where some guy came in, had the exact same name and DOB as somebody on file, and the bureaucrat just gave it to him. She didn't want hassles about giving somebody a hard time. If the identity thief has been captured and charged, get a lawyer to file a civil suit to recover the losses you have incurred both materially and psychologically. Keep all paperwork of accounts and transactions attributed to you that you did not do. File a police report and get copies of it in order to change your accounts, and tell the credit reporting agencies also to use in a civil suit if it gets that far. For a quick review: notify your creditors and the credit reporting agencies with a letter stating that you are the victim of identity theft. Include supporting paperwork including the police report. If the police won't help you by filing a report, complain to NAJI.org, your state attorney general's office. Go to the FTC and get a copy of the ID theft affidavit, which is a form where you can list all the violations committed against you. File a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission at ftc.gov/ID theft, or call the FTC's Identity Theft Hotline toll-free at 877-IT-THEFT, 438-4338. To mail a copy of your complaint, write to Identity Theft Clearinghouse, Federal Trade Commission, 600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20580. The information is entered into the Consumer Sentinel, a secure database accessible by law enforcement agencies worldwide. If you think someone has used your information to obtain a driver's license, contact your local Department of Motor Vehicles and ask that your record be flagged for possible fraud. If somebody has used your name to get cell phone service, contact your local cell phone providers. File a complaint with Federal Communications Commission, Consumer Information Bureau, 445 12th Street SW, Room 5A863, Washington, D.C. 20554, fcc.gov, 888, call FCC. Even if you catch someone using your identity information is still out there. Somebody else might use it. Monitor your financial accounts and credit reports for any signs of tampering. After you've notified the lenders and credit reporting companies that you've become a victim of identity theft and filed a police report to substantiate the crime, you'll still have to provide additional proof that you didn't incur the debt yourself. For new accounts opened in your name, you'll have to complete a document called an ID theft affidavit, which is available at consumer.gov/idtheft/pdf/affidavit.pdf, ftc.government.bcp/conline/pub/credit/affidavit.pdf. For existing accounts with unauthorized charges, you may need an affidavit along with additional supporting documentation, such as police reports, collection agency notifications, etc. After an identity theft, fix what you can, then monitor your credit report every few months to see if they have corrected the problem and to see if there is any new activity on your name. If you sense that your mail has been stolen or tampered with, contact your local postal inspector. If you're used to getting some mail every day then it drops off, that's a red flag. Check your credit report every 6 months. Check your credit report every 6 months. Some websites offer them for free. Annualcreditreport.com, 877-322-8228, the free annual credit reports. Freecreditreport.com. Membershipme.com/freecreditreport. Get a service like the one offered by amw.com where they report to you every time your name is used for any transaction.